Hi, Grandma Debbie here. Okay, so today we're making sheet pan tacos. So we're going to do the prep work first, and then we're going to head over to the stove to cook up the hamburger. And I'm just using a seasoning packet instead of making my own taco sauce. It's just kind of easier. It's a hot day, and I just decided that, you know what, let's do it that way. So that's why I'm going to do it. All right. So let's get going on it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grate some cheese. I'm just using standard cheddar cheese. You can use whatever cheese you happen to have, but this is what we have, so this is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to grate about a cup. Now we get our cheese in a large block form from Costco or Sam's Club, whichever store we happen to be at. Just makes it easier. Okay, that looks like about a cup, so we're going to move that off over to the side. Then we're going to do our lettuce next, and I have to get it. Now, usually when we do tacos, we just get the shredded salad, but this time I just decided that I was just going to do a head instead. And on this, you're just going to chop it really fine. Okay. And I'm going to wipe this up real quick. Okay, so next we're going to do the tomato. And you can use whatever kind of tomato you want. And you want to chop it up into whatever size tomatoes you want. Okay, so we got our tomatoes. I'm going to wipe off this counter again, and I will bring you right back. Okay, so now we're on to the next phase of this. So we're going to take a can of green chilies. And we got whole green chilies, so I'm going to have to chop them up. I think my husband and I need to spend a little more time looking at what we're purchasing. We usually get the diced, but that's okay. I'm capable of chopping. I just don't particularly care to always do that with green chilies because it kind of feels slimy to me. What's your take on green chilies? Do they feel slimy to you as well? Okay, so those are going to go into a bowl. Now we're going to cut our onions. Now the onions I'm using actually came from my husband's garden. So they're not super huge. This is his first time growing them. Whew, but they are certainly potent. So it calls for 1 onion. I'm not going to do 1 onion. This is pretty strong, so I'm just going to do what I have here. All right, then we're going to stir this up. Maybe I'll do 1 more. Yeah, he also grew some carrots, and we had those the other night for our dinner. They were really good. They were dinky tiny, but they were delicious. It was his first time growing carrots, and it's his first time growing onions as well. So we weren't really sure what we were doing, which you can probably tell. But oh well, it worked out in the end. Whew, my eyes are starting to water. Okay, let's get this stirred up, and then we're going to head over to the stove top to get the meat going. Okay, so it's time now to get going on the meat. So I need to preheat my oven to 425. I'm going to get the meat going into my skillet. Turn my skillet on. And we're just going to brown it up. Okay, so the meat is pretty much browned. So I'm now going to add, and I'm just using the Kinder's taco seasoning. So I just added 1 tablespoon. It says to add 2, but I'm thinking with the onions and the green onions that just might be a little too spicy for me. My tummy can't handle that kind of stuff anymore. Okay, looks like we got it all mixed up. So we're gonna head over to the other part of the kitchen. Okay, so we've moved to the other side of the kitchen. So I have a cookie sheet that I'm just gonna put some oil on. And I'm just using olive oil. But you can use whatever kind of oil you happen to have, and that will work just fine. Okay, now I've got the onion mixture, and I'm going to add a hamburger to it. Okay, so in case you're wondering, I dropped the spoon that had all the meat drippings on it. Okay, so then we're going to take some shells, and we're using corn shells, but you can use floured shells if that's what you want. And I'm just going to start with a couple. Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to mix up the meat mixture first before I get going on anything else. Okay, then we're going to add some meat on just one, half of the shell. And you kind of want to get it spooned out to the end. And then you just lose all the meat that you want. Then we're going to add, oops, nope, forgot a step. And I think I'm going to get a knife for that. Then we're going to add refried beans. You can either make your own or buy store-bought. I bought store-bought. I've looked at how to make it, and I do want to learn how to make them, but I just haven't gotten to that point yet. Okay, so we're going to do that on the other half. We're going to add cheese. You just kind of want to add it wherever you want it. And then we're going to fold this in half, press it together as it cracks, and then you're going to move on to the next one. You can also warm the shells up if you want to. I did not. I probably should have, but I didn't. I might be overfilling these because the other one cracked all the way through, but that's okay, you know, it happens. And then after they cook, you're going to put them in the oven for 30 minutes, turning them halfway through. And after they cook, you're going to, that's when you can add the lettuce and tomatoes and all the other stuff. You can add salsa, whatever you want to add. So it looks like I'm going to get probably 6 to fit on my cookie sheet. Okay, let me move this over here so you can see. So now I'm just going to take some more olive oil and brush it on each one. And then at the 15-minute mark, I'm going to flip them all over. So they can get nice and crispy on both sides. All right, I'm going to get this in the oven and I will bring you back at the 15-minute mark. Okay, so my oven is beeping at me and telling me that it has reached the 15-minute mark. So we're going to pull them out. Whew, and my glasses are going to get all fogged up. And I don't know if we really need to turn them, but we're going to. And they've exploded all over the place. So keep that in mind when you're filling them up. I think I overfilled them. All right, I don't know if I'm going to do the full 15 minutes like it says. I think I might just do 10. But I will bring you back when they're done. Okay, so I put these back into the oven for only 10 minutes and they are super crispy. So do it for as long as you think you are necessary, but like I said, it's super crispy. So 10, 25 minutes was good enough for us. I just want to thank you for coming along with me on this journey and listening to me complain about having to chop up green peppers because they're slimy. Yuck. But, you know, do whatever changes you need to this recipe. Just make it your own, whatever you need to do. I hope that you're having an amazing day and everything's going great. And I want to thank you for coming along. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, and hit the share button. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.